Be honest. How many times has this happened to you? You sit down, open your book, and start reading. 5 minutes later, you nod to yourself, I got this. But the next day, boom, gone. You stare at the page again. Highlight, take notes, reread. This time, I'll remember it. You feel productive. Then the test comes. And suddenly, your brain is like a blank whiteboard. Meanwhile, your friend, who crammed last night, same grade, less effort. How? Because your brain is deleting everything you study. Not because it hates you, but because it thinks you don't need it. Your memory isn't broken. Your method is. And if you don't fix it, you'll keep wasting hours and forgetting everything. If you do, you'll study half the time and remember twice as much. Here's how to hack your brain into never forgetting again. You've been told that repetition equals learning. Read it once, forget it. Read it twice, maybe. Read it 10 times, now you've learned it. Wrong. Your brain doesn't work like that. In fact, the more you repeat something passively, the less your brain cares. It's like a song you've heard 1,000,000 times. At first, you love it. Then it gets stuck in your head. Then one day, you stop noticing it. Your brain tunes it out. Same thing happens when you highlight and reread your notes. Your brain stops paying attention. It feels like you're learning. But in reality, you're just getting comfortable with seeing it. And that's a trap. It's called the fluency illusion. Your brain tricks you into thinking you know something just because it looks familiar. Ever read a page in a textbook and thought, yeah, I got this. Then you close the book, and it's gone. That's the fluency illusion. Your brain was never processing the information. It was just seeing it. And seeing something is not learning. So how do you actually make something stick? A few years ago, I was hanging out with my friend Ali when his phone rang. He looked at the screen, picked it up, and after a few seconds, his face changed. He jumped up and shouted, VAPA PC. We all just stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Turns out his dad had just passed the police exam. And in shock, he blurted out, my VAPA dad became a PC. Police constable? We laughed. But at that moment, like something weird happened in my brain because I accidentally memorized all 8 parts of speech. VAPA PC. This happened during my school days when I was 8 or 9, but still I have that in my mind. And I never forgot it. Not because I repeated it, not because I wrote it down 100 times, but because my brain tied it to a real-life moment. It was unexpected, it was emotional, it was real. And that's the secret. Your brain doesn't remember facts. It remembers experiences. Think of a random math formula. Nothing, right? Now think of the first time you got embarrassed in public. Boom, crystal clear. Because your brain stores experiences, not random facts. If you attach what you're studying to a story, a moment, or a strong emotion, your brain keeps it forever. Another rainy day, I was 12. My friend Vikram and I were walking home from school. He stopped, right in front of a giant muddy field. Shortcut? He grinned, pointing at the mess. I gave him the look. Bad idea, dude. But Vikram, he had that I know better than you energy. So, of course, he stepped in. Big mistake. The moment his foot touched the mud, splurch. It sank instantly. He tried to move. Nothing. He pulled harder, still stuck. Then came the panic. Bro, help me. I ran up and started pushing him forward, but the mud was too strong. Another friend grabbed his arms and pulled from the front. For a second, it felt impossible. Then suddenly, pop! He broke free and fell flat on his face. We lost it, laughing like maniacs. But me, I had a weird realization. This was Ohm's law. Vikram was voltage V, the energy trying to move forward. I was current I, the force pushing him from behind. The mud? That was resistance, R, the thing slowing him down. And suddenly, V equals IR wasn't just a formula anymore. It was real. It was something I felt. And to this day, every time I see mud, I think of Ohm's law. That's when I realized, if you connect what you learn to something real, you'll never forget it. Most people learn passively, that's why they forget. Instead, follow this 4-step active memory loop. Test before you learn. Before opening your book, ask yourself, what do I already know? Your brain learns faster when it's filling in gaps, not passively taking in new info. Turn it into a story. Facts? Forgettable. Stories? Unforgettable. That's why an VAPA PC and Vikram in the mud stuck in my head for years. Tie what you learn to a real moment. Your brain won't let it go. Say it out loud. If you can't explain it simply, you don't know it. Teach it to a friend, your pet, or even a wall. If you struggle, you need to learn it again. Do a reverse recall test. Close the book. Write down everything you remember. If your mind goes blank, you never actually learned it. Force yourself to retrieve the info. That's what makes it stick. The way you've been studying, it's broken. That's why you waste hours reading, highlighting, and rereading, only to forget everything. But now, you know better. You have a choice. Keep doing what doesn't work, wasting time, forgetting, struggling, or switch to this method. Study half the time, remember twice as much, and never struggle again. Your brain is powerful, but only if you use it right. Make the switch. Master your memory and start learning the way your brain was designed to. Because at the end of the day, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is.